He saved my life when I thought I was drowning, and then I found out he was the one who pushed me in. I started thinking about when it all began. We were having dinner, the kind of silence that wasn't peaceful. It was loaded, dense. She was staring into her plate like it might offer her an answer, while I tried to remember the last time she really laughed. Not one of those polite chuckles over coffee, but a real, spontaneous laugh. I couldn't. "How was your day?" I asked, more to shatter the stillness than out of genuine curiosity. "Same," she replied, and that was it. There was wine on the table, a half-burned candle, leftover salmon from the night before. Friday. Fridays used to mean something. Now they were just more silence. She stood up before I finished my glass. No eye contact, just a quiet scrape of the chair against tile. "Got some emails to catch up on," she said, already walking away. I nodded, staring at the back of her head as she disappeared into the hallway. Our hallway. The hallway where we used to stumble, laughing, drunk and young, kissing like time was chasing us. Something shifted that night. Later, in bed, I heard her phone buzz. Once, then again, a third time, a rhythm, not random. I turned to her. She was asleep, or pretending. I reached for it. I never had before. We'd always respected each other's space, trusted, or maybe just played pretend better back then. I told myself I wouldn't open it, just look at the name, just see. It wasn't saved, just a number, but the preview was enough. "Miss your scent already. Saturday can't come fast enough." I sat up. The walls didn't collapse. The world didn't explode. I just stared at the screen, breathing slower, deeper, like I was preparing to dive. She shifted beside me. I froze. The phone vibrated again. "Same place? Got the wine you like?" I locked the screen and placed it gently back, laid down, stared at the ceiling, counted the seconds between blinks. Morning came, and I didn't mention it. We had coffee, talked about bills, weather. She kissed my cheek on her way out like nothing had changed. And maybe nothing had. Not for her. I went to work, sat in meetings, smiled at charts, nodded at budgets. But inside, something had split. Not shattered, not yet. Just a quiet crack, a hairline fracture along the idea of us. By lunch, I had memorized the number. By evening, I had saved it. Not under his name, not yet, just unknown one. I needed to know more, not to scream, not to confront. I wasn't even angry. I was curious, detached. But something had started, and there was no turning back. Of course, she deleted the messages. By the next morning, her phone was clean. No late-night texts, no call history. Just the perfect illusion of loyalty. Polished, curated. But I had seen enough. Enough to know the truth was hiding in plain sight. She made us both breakfast that day. Eggs, toast, coffee just the way I liked it. She smiled. She touched my hand. The performance was flawless. If I hadn't seen those messages, I would have believed her. I almost wished I hadn't. I watched her move around the kitchen, graceful, methodical. My wife. The woman I promised forever. Now every glance, every word was a code I couldn't quite crack. "I might go to that yoga retreat next weekend," she said casually, sipping her coffee. The one by the lake?" I asked. She hesitated, just for a second. "Yeah. They've got a new instructor. Should be nice to get away." I nodded. "You deserve it." She smiled, almost grateful. I smiled back. A rehearsed duet. We were both pretending now. I started watching her more closely. Not obsessively. Strategically. Her timing. Her wardrobe. The way she always took her phone into the bathroom now. How she lingered near the front window around 6, always checking her reflection before dinner. I never asked questions. That would give me away. One night I followed her. She said she had dinner with a friend. Girls' night. I waited 15 minutes after she left, then took the car and drove a few blocks behind hers. I stayed low, lights off, no music. She parked near a bistro I didn't recognize. I waited, watched her get out. She wore heels she hadn't worn in months, lipstick too red, a perfume I didn't recognize. He was already there, sitting outside, checking his phone. She smiled when she saw him. Not the smile she gave me, softer, younger. They kissed. Quick, but not awkward. Practiced. My chest didn't explode, my fists didn't clench. I just sat there, invisible, in the dark. They stayed for 2 hours. I memorized everything. His face, his gestures, how he leaned in too close when he laughed, how she touched his wrist when he spoke. She came home late, smelled like wine and citrus. I pretended to be asleep. That night I dreamed of mirrors, endless reflections of her face, all smiling, none looking at me. The next morning, she made pancakes, hummed while she cooked. I watched her, trying to remember if this was who she'd always been. At work, I did what I was trained to do: analyze, verify, gather. I ran his plate, found his name, his job, his wife. Yes, wife. I stared at the photo of them. He had a family too. Another layer of lies. That's when it all started to unravel. Not her life, not his. Mine. I didn't want revenge. Not yet. I wanted clarity. His name was Daniel Reed, architect, married for 12 years, 2 kids, perfect, symmetrical life on paper. The irony wasn't lost on me. He designed homes while dismantling his own behind closed doors. I found his wife on social media, Claire Reed, kindergarten teacher, blonde, modest, the kind of woman who still posted family photos with filtered hearts. One post caught my attention, a candid shot of Daniel kissing her temple. Captioned, "My rock. Always." I stared at it for a long time. That evening, I printed every screenshot I had, messages, time-stamped locations, photos from that dinner. I didn't confront anyone. I made a folder, labeled it, for when I stop lying to myself. A week passed. I said nothing, observed. She continued to play the role. I played mine better. Then I sent Claire an anonymous email. Simple. Director. No threats. No drama. Just facts and 3 attachments. I used a burner account and signed off with nothing. I waited. 3 days later, she replied, "Who are you? How do you know this?" I didn't answer. I wanted her to come looking, and she did. She found my LinkedIn. My office. She walked in during my lunch break. Small, composed, dressed like grief in a pencil skirt. She didn't introduce herself. "You're him," she said. I nodded. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew. I've known. We sat in the conference room. I closed the blinds. No handshakes. "How long?" "I found out 2 weeks ago," I said. "They've been meeting at least since April, maybe longer." Her hands trembled, but she didn't cry. "And you didn't confront her?" "No." She tilted her head. "Why?" "Because I needed to know what kind of lie I was living in." A silence fell between us, heavy, not uncomfortable, honest. Then she asked, "What do you want from me?" "Information, that's it." She studied me. "You're planning something." "Not revenge," I said. "Good." A pause. "But let's still plan something." That surprised me. There was steel behind her politeness. We agreed on a plan, a quiet one. No screaming, no scenes, just truth, stripped bare. She offered the location, a house her family owned outside the city. Quiet, isolated, neutral ground. We invite them, separately. Let them walk into it blind. "And then?" "We don't yell," she said. "We let them talk. We watch. We let it all burn down on its own." I nodded. Saturday? Saturday. After she left, I sat alone in that room. My reflection in the glass looked unfamiliar, not broken, not angry, sharper. That night, I watched my wife sleep again, her face soft, mouth slightly open, one arm under the pillow. I wondered who she dreamed of. She stirred, as if sensing me. "You okay?" she mumbled. "Yeah, just thinking. Come back to bed." I did. I lay beside her, close enough to feel her warmth, far enough not to touch. For the first time in years, I wasn't wondering what I meant to her. I was wondering what I meant to myself. The house was beautiful. 2 stories, wraparound porch, pines bending in the wind like they were whispering. Claire unlocked the door and walked in first. She moved with clinical precision, no wasted energy, no emotion. I followed, carrying the wine, 2 glasses, and the folder. She pointed. "Living room. That's where we'll do it." We didn't decorate, no theatrics, just a table, 4 chairs, and silence. I placed the folder in the center. "They'll arrive in an hour," she said, checking her watch. I nodded. We didn't speak after that. At 5 p.m. sharp, I heard a car door shut. My heart didn't race. It slowed, like my body was bracing for impact. First came Daniel. He looked different up close, shorter than I expected, nervous eyes. He walked in, saw Claire, and froze. "Claire, what?" "Sit," she said. He hesitated, then obeyed. 10 minutes later, my wife stepped in. She stopped when she saw me. Her mouth parted, just slightly. "You?" she said. Her voice cracked, not from guilt, from shock. "I told you I had a meeting," she said quickly, like that would fix the shape of the room. Claire gestured. "Sit." She did. We were 4 now. I slid the folder toward the middle. Daniel reached for it. Claire slapped his hand away. "I want to hear it from you," she said. He looked at her, then at me, then at my wife. No one moved. Claire leaned forward. "How long?" He cleared his throat. 7 months. "Where did it start?" He glanced at my wife. She looked down. "At work," she said. "A conference. It was harmless at first." "Define harmless," I said. Her eyes snapped to me. "I didn't plan this. You planned weekends away." She opened her mouth, then closed it. Claire stood, walked to the window. Her voice dropped. "I lost my father last summer. You remember that, Daniel?" He nodded quietly. "That whole time you were working late. I thought you were grieving with me. But you were with her?" Daniel looked away, said nothing. I stood now. "You know what the worst part is?" I asked. No one answered. I tapped the folder. "It's not the sex, it's the logistics, the planning, the secrecy. You had to lie with such discipline." My wife whispered, "Please stop." I turned to her. "No." She blinked. The first tear rolled. "I didn't know how to come back to you," she said. "You didn't try." Claire's laugh broke the room. "You 2 are adorable, really. But let me remind you, I have children. They kissed this man goodnight while he was booking hotel rooms." Daniel stood. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone." "But you did," I said. "All of us." Silence again. Claire walked back to the table. "I want a divorce," she said. Daniel froze. "Claire, wait." "Number, no more talking." I looked at my wife. She was pale, small. "I'll have the papers sent," I said. She didn't answer. Claire reached into her coat and pulled out a sonogram photo. She dropped it in front of Daniel. "You want to explain this?" she said. His face drained. My wife stared at the image. Her lips parted again. Claire looked at me. She knew. Found it in his jacket last week. And that was the moment everything broke. Not from yelling, from silence. From the quiet collapse of everything we thought was controlled. I didn't say another word, just walked out, into the cold, into myself. I didn't go home that night. I drove until the gaslight came on. Then I parked near the ocean, somewhere past the edge of the city, and sat in the dark. Wind howled against the windshield. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just existed. The world hadn't ended, but something had. By morning, I checked into a motel under a fake name, paid in cash, curtains drawn, phone off. The silence wasn't comforting, it was surgical, cutting everything unnecessary out of me. I stared at the ceiling, trying to find meaning, but there was nothing left to analyze. No theories, no possibilities, only facts. She chose him, and she protected him. Even when confronted, she hadn't turned toward me, not once. The betrayal wasn't the affair, it was the indifference. For days, I drifted. No calls, no texts. Just my name on unread emails and automated reminders. Then I opened the folder again. Studied the pages like evidence from a cold case. Patterns, habits, small signs I'd ignored, dentist appointments that didn't match her calendar, sudden gym memberships, weekend retreats. It wasn't just infidelity. It was a life behind a curtain I never knew existed. I thought about Daniel, the way he looked at her. Not with love, with possession. And she leaned into it. Why? That question stayed with me. So I dug deeper. I started investigating him, not just online, real-world verification, financial records, side businesses, travel logs, and something clicked. A shell company, payments that didn't make sense, transfers between him and a third party with no obvious link, but the amounts were too clean, too regular. And then I found it. A consulting contract from his firm, dated 6 months ago, made out to my wife. She never told me she was consulting, especially not for an architecture firm, especially not his. It wasn't a romance, it was a transaction. Claire and I met again. A quiet cafe, back corner. I handed her the documents. She read in silence, lips tightening. He paid her, I said, to keep quiet, maybe more. She knew about the baby, Claire whispered, but she never planned to leave you. Number. She didn't have to. He gave her everything she wanted, attention, money, control. Claire sat back. I thought she was just broken, but she's strategic. And we were resources, I said, structures to build her story on. She looked up at me. What do we do? I looked out the window. A kid ran by with a balloon, bright red, fragile. We stopped thinking this is about them, I said. It's about us now. That was the shift. Not revenge, reconstruction. I hired a lawyer, told him I wanted clean lines, no drama, no fights, just truth. I looked for apartments near the sea, nothing big, just quiet. Claire decided to move too, said the house felt poisoned. We met once more before parting. No plans, no promises. We'll be okay, she said. I'm not aiming for okay, I replied. I'm aiming for peace. She smiled, the first real one. I walked away lighter, not healed, but unhooked. From them, from her. From the life I thought I was living. No shouting, no courtroom drama, just documents, initials, and silence between lines once filled with love. She didn't fight. Not for the house, not for the memories. She signed everything with that same controlled elegance I used to admire. Only once did she look at me. I thought we were happy, she said. No, I replied. You thought I wouldn't notice. She blinked, then went back to the papers. Outside, I met Claire. She had just finished her own hearing. Her face was unreadable. Done? I asked. She nodded. Clean break. We sat on a bench, same courthouse, different ruins. You found anything else? She asked. I pulled out my phone. Yeah, something strange. The shell company Daniel used, it wasn't just a front for paying my wife. It was part of a larger chain, feeding into a nonprofit run by someone with a criminal record for fraud. Layers upon layers. Claire leaned in. What was the nonprofit for? Urban development, grants, public funds. Her jaw clenched. He used city money to fund his affair? And possibly launder more. She shook her head. This isn't about us anymore. No, I said. It's about exposure. We needed help. Someone outside the mess. Claire suggested a reporter, someone she once taught in high school who now worked investigative pieces for an online journal. We met her the next day. Her name was Tasha. Sharp, young, fast. I laid out the documents, timelines, financial inconsistencies, contracts, messages, the consulting job. She listened, took notes, then asked the most important question. Why now? Claire answered. Because we don't want them to do it again. To anyone else. Tasha smiled. Then let's make it count. We became a team, quiet, strategic. Claire accessed old family records, ownership documents of the country house, insurance receipts, Daniel's real estate disclosures. I used my finance background to trace accounts. Tasha dug into court filings, city budgets, and urban grant approvals. Patterns emerged. Connections between Daniel's firm and at least 3 shady developments. Misused grant money, fake invoices, payments matching my wife's weekend trips. They were building an empire on betrayal. We drafted the report, a full exposé. Tasha would publish under her name. We'd stay anonymous. Let the truth speak first. No warning, no teasers. Just a headline that lit up like fire across the city. Built on lies, corruption, infidelity, and fraud inside a prominent urban development firm. Within an hour, my phone buzzed with messages. Colleagues, friends, people I hadn't spoken to in years. No one mentioned my name, but the connections were obvious. Claire's name didn't appear either. We stayed in the shadows. The story was about them. Tasha did it perfectly. No bitterness, no scandalous tone. Just facts, timelines, financial trails, quotes, the recordings, blurred names, screenshots, enough to make people start asking questions, enough for authorities to notice. By noon, Daniel's office shut down its website. By evening, the city council announced an internal audit. And by the next morning, Daniel was on the news, not denying, stammering, hiding behind legalese. Claire watched with me, her arms crossed, lips tight. He thought he was untouchable, she said. I nodded. They always do. My wife didn't show up for work that day, or the next. Her social media vanished. Joint friends stopped reaching out. She was erasing herself, the way only guilty people do when the lights come on. The final act wasn't public, it was personal. She asked to meet, sent an email, short and vague. Please. Just once. I said yes. We met at the same cafe where I once took her on our 3rd date. She came early, sat by the window, no makeup, no armor. I sat down, didn't order. I'm not here to apologize, she said. Then why are you here? She swallowed. To say goodbye, properly. I leaned back. You never said hello properly either. She flinched. I never meant to destroy you. You didn't, I said. You revealed me. That silenced her. She looked down. Was any of it real? Wrong question, I said. Ask yourself if any of it mattered. She wiped at one eye, then stopped herself. I thought I needed more, she whispered. And maybe I did, but not like this. I stood. I hope you figure it out. She didn't chase me, didn't call after. That was the last time I saw her. The fallout came fast. Daniel lost his license. Investigations launched. The nonprofit folded. More people came forward. More lies surfaced. but I didn't follow every update. I moved. Small house, close to the sea. I walked more, slept better, talked less. One day, a letter came, no return address. Inside was a photo. Claire on a porch, holding her kids, smiling, no note. Just that. A simple truth. We survived. Not perfectly, but honestly. I stood on the shore, morning wind slicing through my coat. The sea was calm, wide, endless, indifferent. In my hand, her last message. No apology, no explanation, just, "I hope you found peace." I folded it once. Let it go. The wind took it. Behind me, the world went on. Distant voices, a barking dog, the clink of dishes through an open cafe window. I didn't turn, didn't need to. She had vanished. And I had arrived.